Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today is a special day. Today is a celebration. It's a big celebration, or at least it should be. Today is Purim. What's Purim, you ask? Well, I have the answer. Purim comes out of the Bible, out of the book of Esther, which is located in the Old Testament. And Esther talks about a queen who saved her people, the Jews. I call them the Hebrew Israelites. And God chose her to save his people, his chosen people. So I got to thinking, I wonder what Queen Esther would have looked like. So I went online and I actually found a young lady that I think could have been a Queen Esther. Can you see it? There we go. I wish this would have been printed in color. Oh my God. She's beautiful. Look at her crown. Look at her jewelry. Look at that across the neck. This could have been my ancestor. This is what Queen Esther could have looked like. So let me tell you a little bit about Esther, the book in the Bible. King Xerxes reigned from India to Ethiopia, which was considered the Persian Empire. Side note, Persia is present-day Iran. King Xerxes had several wives, but one he thought was most beautiful, and her name was Queen Vashti. The king was hosting a 7-day banquet, and on one of the days, he wanted to show off his beautiful queen. He sent his officials to get the queen, but she refused to go, denying the king her presence. This angered the king, and he stripped the queen of her power, her authority, and her privileges permanently. It was decided that another woman would replace the queen. Young virgins throughout the land, including Esther, were gathered for the king's pleasure and for him to choose another queen. Under the custody of Haggai, the king's eunuch, all the women were to go through an extensive beauty preparation for a total of 12 months. 6 months of cleansing and purification, and the other 6 months focusing on beauty. Esther found favor with Haggai, and he dressed her with the finest clothing, adorned her with the most beautiful jewelry, gave her 7 maids, and the best living quarters in the harem. As advised by her older cousin Mordecai, who held a position in the king's court, Esther did not disclose she was a Hebrew Israelite or a Jew. Esther followed Mordecai's instructions because he was like a father to her since her parents were killed when she was young. She also never mentioned having a relative who worked at the royal court. Esther was presented before the king, and because, unlike the other women, under the advisement of Haggai, when Esther was asked if she wanted anything as her own to take from the king's palace, she declined. This impressed the king. The king fell in love with Esther above all his wives, and he set the royal crown on her head making her queen, and a great banquet was given in Esther's honor. One day, Mordecai was sitting at the king's gate, and he overheard two eunuchs angry at the king and conspiring to attack the king. He told Esther, who in turn told the king. After a thorough investigation, it was proven the plot against the king was true, and the men were hung. There was a man named Haman who worked for the king. Haman was a good worker and was promoted to second in command to the king. Because of his position, he was honored and revered and bowed down to. So whenever Haman was at the king's gate, all men would bow down to him except Mordecai. This incident occurred a couple of times, and Haman was not pleased. Mordecai's peers told Haman the reason Mordecai would not bow down to him, and it was because he was a Jew. As the situation progressed, Haman became furious and decided to have not only Mordecai killed, but all the Jews, not only in Persia, but in other lands. Haman approached the king and instigated that the Jews in the land and in other provinces did not observe the king's laws. He suggested to the king that a decree or a law be passed that all Jews be destroyed and the people who carry out the destruction be paid 10,000 talents of silver. The king agreed. Mordecai found out about the plan to have the Jews killed. He immediately sent word to Esther. Esther instructed the Jews in all of Persia to do a 3-day fast, eating nothing or drinking nothing for 3 days. On the 3rd day, Esther dressed in the finest garment to present herself to the king, her husband. Knowing that the king loved her, she revealed Haman's plan to destroy the Jews, and she then admitted to the king she was a Jew herself. Because of his love for her, for Esther, the king altered the decree previously arranged with Haman, and this new arrangement allowed the Jews to defend themselves without having to face consequences. That's how our people were saved, because of Queen Esther. Queen Esther, Queen Esther, thank you. Thank you.